Dude,
Going on your end, man?
going good, man. If for anybody that's joining this live right now, this very promptu, because I didn't post anything for the live or anything like that. So this is kind of like a surprise one. I still gotta come up. We'll come up with a cool like thumbnail and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But for anybody that knows this face here, this familiar face, this is my old and no and my current new co-host Lee. He's he's running Cinema Whiplash over there, killing it. And yeah, he's coming back. You know, we kind of got our schedules all sorted out. Um for anybody that's also wondering where the hell I've been for the last month, I've actually been in the process of moving and all that. So that's why I really haven't posted anything. So I'm sorry guys, but we're back. We're gonna be doing we're working on our continuing the podcast, doing at least bi-weekly live feeds like this, maybe some surprise ones and
Yeah.
some regular content. But Lee, dude, get in there, man. Introduce yourself. I'm sure
Yeah,
most of these people
Lee's
are pumped.
yeah, Lee from currently Lee and GC face the movies, but GC's doing great at face the movies and I'm at Cinema Whiplash and we've always, nothing, we always stuck together. We always talk about our help each other out with our channels and we're like, dude, let's get back together and do an episode at least one a month, to be able to do something together. Figuring out the live stream thing and hopefully in the near future we can start we're trying to do maybe like a once a month horror podcast for you guys that hopefully it'll be a lot of fun to just do an audio only for a podcast for when you guys are like driving and or when you're too busy to be watching something and you could just listen to it. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna be doing this one also. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about just just shoot the shit and have fun. And I guess we'll keep it PG-13. You can only say shit, but no F. I don't know if we could, if we can curse or not. But either way, we did talk about before streaming this past week. GC and I talked about what couple of movies that we should watch or we want to talk about. And GC, if you want to let them know, we're gonna be doing a little talk about the two specific movies today.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So we're yeah, guys, and just want to say this is my first time and Lee's first time kind of like streaming by ourselves. You've probably seen me like guest host on Sunday Night Scaries. And so for that, it's like Jordan from the movie den, he takes care of all that stuff. So we're still figuring it out. We'll probably have like a little countdown intro and all that good stuff in the near future. But so two movies that we're talking about in particular, and I know you guys are not going to be expecting this at all,
For the
but
'90s kids, we start with the '90s kid one.
that's right. Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. So we're going to start with Sidekicks. Let me
So
get that.
notice how GC's copy is way cooler than mine.
You know what? Look at that with the
Yeah,
girth.
look at it. Look how thin mine is. But
Dude, that's
anyways,
awesome.
no, that one's awesome, dude. That one's awesome. Yeah, the
It's so
long
sick, dude.
story short, I tried to get that one from eBay and they ended up sending me this one instead. I mean, essentially it's the same 4K disc wise and everything, features and everything, but it doesn't have the box set that came for GC that he got. You got it straight from Vinegar Syndrome, right?
Oh, I
From their
did, and
website?
dude, that was an absolute nightmare. I have to say, I don't think I'm ever gonna order directly from them again. I rather just either buy it off Facebook Marketplace or
Yeah.
some from some weird van down the street or anywhere else, man. Because the last I've ordered twice from them, and twice it took over 2 months, and it wasn't even a pre-order. Like it wasn't anything crazy. And not
Right. It's
only,
just
yeah, dude, now not only did they take forever, but they also like
they
their
charge you
customer.
for shipping anyways.
Did I? Yeah, I paid for shipping, and then, dude, I reached out to them on both occasions, and the customer service was very dry, very like they just whoever I spoke to just did not care. I answered some follow up, well, I asked some follow up questions, and the guy like didn't even respond or anything, and it was just completely disappointing, man. Because I heard so many good things, but then as of late, the last few months, other buddies in the community have all been having issues as well with shipping.
Oh.
So yeah, it's been an ongoing thing, man. It wasn't just because they hate my channel because I have like a small amount of subscribers, but
Oh
dude, I
yeah,
wanna
well, I mean, for
no,
me, it was like the opposite. That's funny, right? Like you went through the experience of taking forever with the shipping, and then for me, I got it off eBay from a guy with no description for it. So when I see this picture, I'm thinking it's exactly like yours, and then when I get it, I get this like kind of just regular 4K Blu-ray box. So, but it got here super fast. Like the guy told me it was gonna take like a week and a half, and it got here like in 4 days, and it was free shipping. But I think yours was definitely worth the wait. But at the same time, I understand the delays and the bad customer service. That sucks.
dude. And it's crazy because like it's funny, I mean, not funny, but so yours came, plain Jane, straight, like regular case and whatnot. So
Yeah.
mine, I get it directly from the source. I get the beautiful slip cover and all that good stuff, the little booklet, the little magazine, and it's nice. But then look at the case, dude. Like, do you see the edges, how messed up they are?
Yeah.
Like, and all around, it's all messed up, like even on top and all that. And it just sucks because, dude, not only did I wait, I mean, I got it on sale. Like, I can't remember how much did I get it for, dude. I remember telling you what was it, $18 or something like that.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you told me with everything included, it was like 20 something, but under 25, I believe.
yeah, I think it was like it came out to like 20 or $21,
Yeah.
but I know I got it on,
I paid the same for this one.
dude. And it sucks, man, because if I would have known, like, I feel so bad because if I would have known, man, that you would have wanted this movie in your collection, when I ordered mine, I would have just got you one as well, so we could have had like the little matching box set.
No,
But
I know you didn't know. Plus, like I said before, you and I have spoken about this. I do like this movie, and I grew up with this movie in the '90s. I remember going to see. I didn't see this in theaters, but kids renting it on VHS and watching
yeah,
it. Now, as a kid, I was a huge martial arts fan. I loved karate, and when you're younger, maybe not watching too much of the Bruce Lee stuff or things like that, Asian cinema, but I was definitely watching the American stuff. And I mean, to this day, I freaking love the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The 1991 is still one of my favorite kids movies of all time. So I don't think this one holds up to something like that, or even Three Ninjas for me. As a kid, I loved Three
yeah,
Ninjas. That one I did see in theaters, but I still always liked it. And I had told you that I think in around 2012, funny enough, on eBay also, this movie is not available on DVD, and it never was. So I ended up buying it on VHS. I think I got it for like 10, $12 on VHS. It was a little expensive for VHS, but at the time, especially that, VHS hadn't boomed to what it is doing now, that it has this resurgence. Anyways, I have the VHS of it, and then when you told me about this, I was like, oh, I'm excited to see how this would look in 4K, and I do like the movie, but if once we get into the movie, we'll talk about its goofiness and why I wouldn't put it as one of my top tier kid karate movies, but I do like it.
dude. I watched it. I had to watch it through 2 nights, man, because I watched the first half, and I've just with the move and everything, man. Like I told you, like I've been exhausted just every day. It feels like around the clock work around the house,
Yeah.
um, with the dogs and stuff. I'm babysitting, so I have like a little mini farm. I have Zeke the parrot, Charlie the cat, Bodie the wiener dog, and then Mavericks too. It's actually his birthday, so he's for anybody that doesn't know,
Nice.
he's my German Shepherd puppy, and dude, it's been a handful, and I watched. I guess long story long, I was exhausted, so I watched it through 2 nights. But the quality, man, like, and it's crazy because I started getting all these childhood memories coming back as I was watching it,
Yeah.
and the quality was fantastic. I mean, I like it was crazy because even in the beginning, when the camera's like zoomed into Jonathan's face, when he's like daydreaming and stuff, dude, you see every little thing on his face, like for every
Yeah.
freckle. Like I mean, I mean, there was some grain, but like it
Oh
was
yeah, for sure.
good, but it was freaking fantastic, dude.
I think there was only like one scene, and I can't remember. I definitely know it was a flashback, but I don't know if it was the jungle one or something, where there was like one scene where it looked kind of a little too grainy. But other than that, the movie looked really good. I mean, a lot of really nice shots of downtown San Antonio, which when he's being trained in downtown San Antonio. I pause the movie and I always go on IMDb when I'm watching movies to go to the trivia and the locations because I was like, I know that's Texas, but I couldn't figure out if it was Austin or Dallas, and I thought it was one of the two because I've been to both, and I'm like, yeah, the downtowns. And then when I looked it up, it was actually San Antonio, but actually. Was it San Antonio or Houston? See, now I'm messed up. I think it's Houston.
Well, I
Either
mean,
way, all the
the wa-
downtowns in Texas look the same, dude. So,
the-
but no, the movie it's really nicely shot in Texas, and it was shot there. And anyways, there's a lot of backstory stuff that you learn from these special features. It does come with a lot of stuff. I did watch the 30 something minute one with the director, which the director is actually Chuck Norris's brother. And I did watch the one with the actress, the older actress, the Asian lady. She comes
oh,
out
dude,
in
yeah,
about like almost 40 minutes talking about the movie. So that was not bad. It has some pretty good features.
dude. And it's funny that they filmed it in Texas because Walker Texas Ranger is in
Yeah,
it. But
yeah,
yeah, it was funny because that lady, the main actress, I knew I'd seen her before, and I couldn't remember, and I googled her, and I mean, dude, I remember now after seeing all her movies, like she was like one of those kind
she
of
was in
like,
Rambo
yeah, oh, that's why I didn't know that,
Part
dude.
Two. She
Yeah,
was in First Blood Part Two. That was like her first main gig, and she talks about it in the special features. And it also has the Jonathan Brand's love interest is the girl from the Wonder Years. She
yeah,
was
yeah, Winnie, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
dude, that's so freaking cool, man. I was just like I was just blown away by like nostalgia behind this movie, and honestly, man, I know this is gonna be a hot topic, but I grew up on the Karate Kid, love the Karate Kid, but I don't know, this one, it was like the Karate Kid, but just I don't know, it was different because it felt more relatable. Because I don't know, for me, for example, I know when they're filming this movie and at the time, and everybody's kind of like giving the kid a hard time because he's spacing out and stuff. And
Yeah,
now it's like consider I don't know if back then it was considered a ADD or whatever, but or ADHD, but uh yeah, like now it's considered that, and I suffer from that a lot. Like not to the extent like the character in the movie, but I find myself with my head in the clouds a lot, and I'll space out, and then I go into this like thought, and I'm sitting there, next thing you know, I'm like, huh. Like I come back, I'm like,
yeah,
oh shit, like I was just somewhere else for a second. So it was pretty cool to see on screen. Kind of like I was like, nice, dude. Like, all right. I mean, I didn't take karate, but
yeah. Well, I think that's what the movie does. That's where the movie does stand out. I think it has a lot of heart. I think it has a good message for kids with these things like the main character has asthma, and on top of the asthma he's always daydreaming, and I think that a lot of the asthma comes like from his head. A lot of the stuff like the guy that's trying to train him is trying to get him out of that funk. Oh, walk to school, run to school, do all these things because he's trying to get him out of that headspace so he can learn this karate and kind of get him to because now he has like this relationship with the girl, and then he kind of gets mad because he feels like she feels sorry for him, but in reality he really likes her and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to go back to the Karate Kid, for me, I do like the Karate Kid better. I find it more entertaining, but I do feel like you just said, like this movie has a better message. I think it has a deeper thing than the Karate Kid is just fun. It's entertaining. Um, but I grew up more with the Karate Kid. But like I said, for me as a '90s kid, it was more Ninja Turtles and Three Ninjas and Three Ninjas Kick Back and and all these like even something that's even cornier than Sidekicks and not as good, but like Surf Ninjas and stuff like that. But I do feel like what's at the what makes this movie stand out is the heart of it for sure. Even the ending, just to jump to that final scene where the kid in the wheelchair grabs the magazine, and it's like saying, he gets inspired by, he's like, oh, and it's like this could be a sequel, but I don't know how the kid in the wheelchair would learn karate, but he could be into the community. Nah, like he could join the community and do things that he otherwise wouldn't be able to do and stuff. So I think the movie has that going for it for sure.
Oh no, absolutely, man. I mean, it's funny too, yeah, because at the end I remember I'm watching and I'm thinking, wait, how's this kid in the wheelchair? Unless he just learns like nunchucks or something and just like starts punching people in the crotch. He's just like, ah. But it,
Yeah,
it really was the message behind it. It definitely was more relatable. Because I mean, nobody's gonna be living like somewhere in where was the Karate Kid originally filmed? I can't remember. It was
I think
I know it's
it's
like
I think it's L.A. I think it's the story is the kid that he moves from New York to L.A.
Oh,
and then
okay.
that's where he starts making the friends and stuff. Yeah, and it's definitely Los Angeles. Yeah,
Because the sequel was when he moves away. I think he
yeah,
moves toward
Japan.
Japan. Yeah. See that one, it's harder to relate because I don't know anybody that's like had that type of lifestyle unless you're like military type kid. And but with this one, yeah, it was just very like plain Jane. He has a crush, a school bully, the asthma. I grew up having asthma actually when I was a kid, so
Yeah,
that's
me
one of
too.
those things.
I had in elementary. I had the puff thing for a few years, and the doctor
Yeah,
had said
man.
that's gonna go away with time. And I think by the time I hit fifth grade, it was gone. Like, I had it for like maybe from first grade to like third grade or something like that.
Oh, dude, yeah. No, so we both yeah, so this movie touches home for us, man. And yeah, it was just it was definitely, you know what, I do want to give a shout out to I can't, damn it, dude. You know what? And I just didn't get to prepare as much to watch like the behind the scenes and all that. But the main guy, the karate teacher that fights Chuck Norris, that actor was
Oh
freaking
yeah,
over, dude. He was so
over
good,
the
man.
top.
Over the like I've never seen a character, man, like that in a movie where this guy just perfected the cheesy like
Yeah.
90s freaking bad guy. And just I gotta look up later on to see if he made anything else, because yeah, it was just funny. He made me laugh a few times, especially when he does like the 17 different backflips after Chuck Norris kicks him in the face.
Oh
Like
yeah.
when he's just
Yeah, oh,
flipping
yeah,
into
yeah.
him.
The camera. They thought the director does talk about that. He talks about him. He does have a lot of goofy moments, especially in Jonathan Brandis's like daydreams. You know, in the
Yeah.
daydreams, he has like he plays a Asian
With
character.
the
There's another
mustache,
one where
yeah.
he's like he ends up with all his like paint dropped all over him. And I did find the I find like the dude was in a really great shape and that at the end, right? He looks big and buff,
Yeah.
but I kind of feel like since he was an actor, maybe he didn't know martial arts. If you notice in the fight, I don't think he ever punches or kicks Chuck Norris once. Like, it's always Chuck Norris that hits him. I think it's in a way trying to make fun of the fact that this guy's a joke, right? But at the same time, they do show in his karate dojo that he has all these trophies and stuff. So you would think he would be able to do a little bit, even if he loses. I know Chuck Norris is one of those guys that can't be touched, but I thought that was funny that he never even lands a punch on Chuck Norris. And then, like you said, that camera angle was goofy, but kind of funny that it just flips all over until he falls, and he makes those. He's a very expressionist, like his face, like the expressions on his face are pretty funny.
Dude, he really reminded me of like Jim Carrey, man. If not, his expressions, I'd say, I know some people probably fight me on this, but just they were even better just because of this guy. I know Jim Carrey doesn't care about looking goofy and stuff, especially in the comedies or anything. But
Yeah,
like yeah, like this guy just crushed it, man. I mean, I think everybody did a fantastic job. Um, the dad, right? The dad of Jonathan Brandis's character.
yeah.
Dude, where
Bew Bridges is Jeff Bridges' brother.
that's okay, dude. Because I kept watching, and the whole time I kept thinking of Tron. I
Oh
kept
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
of Tron
yeah.
every time I saw this guy, and I was just like, "Where the hell do I know you from?" Dude, I
Yeah, you
didn't
know
know.
his brother more than anything.
Seriously, man, and like
Yeah,
the resemblance, man, it's
yeah.
insane. The voice, especially the voice, like that's crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, yeah, that family, I think they have a couple other people in their family that are in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
And they do mention a lot of it. I think it's a pretty good, you should check out the features, the conversation with the director, with Chuck Norris, which he reveals Chuck Norris' real name is actually Carlos. I thought that was pretty funny. And not that it's funny, but it's just like he doesn't look like a Carlos, and you're used to seeing a Chuck. But yeah, he's worked with his brother a lot, and he actually did produce the Texas Ranger show with his brother. They did it together, and he directed a couple of Chuck Norris movies before this one. I think Missing in Action and some. I personally grew up loving Schwarzenegger movies, Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, but for some reason, other than this one, I could never get into Chuck Norris movies. I tried to watch a few of them, and he also tended to go with the more kid PG-13 PG stuff, and I tended as a kid especially to go more for the R-rated
Yeah.
Van Damme and stuff like that. But I mean, Chuck Norris is pretty cool, man. Everyone loves him and stuff, and he seems to be like a really nice guy in real life. But I just couldn't get into his movies. So this is basically the only one that I grew up watching of his.
Dude, that's crazy, man. Because I mean, Chuck Norris is a legend. Like, I mean,
Yeah, he was
God,
good.
they growing up, like all the stuff that I heard, it was freaking hilarious. How he like took down an elephant, like a
Yeah,
freaking full grown elephant
he's
with
he
his
has that
bare
infamy
hands.
about with that and the memes, and he's like all this newer generation knows him mostly for that more than
Yeah.
anything else. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show I'm still rocking this
Dude,
thing, man. Still
hell
got it
yeah.
here. There he is.
I always keep it, dude.
Still going strong.
I use this thing all the time. I mean, right now I'm doing a little bit of coffee, but
Yeah.
uh,
No,
yeah, dude.
I use it all the time too. I even, because nowadays when you go to the movies, they don't really care if you bring stuff. So like I
Yeah.
walk in with this thing full of water every time I go to the movies now, and I take it to a couple places, and I always have it here in the house to keep hydrating during my work days and stuff. So yeah, man, still going strong.
Dude, hell yeah, man. I'm surprised if anything they don't stop you and ask you where you got it from. Because I've had people in the past, like even in drive-throughs. I mean, you know how the windows are always a little taller so they could kind of see in your car a bit. And I've
Oh
always
yeah.
had my cup there, and I've had, at least 2 or 3 times I've caught like a person in drive-through kind of just staring at it, like and wanting to ask, but at the same time, I'm sure they're like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry, I'm like staring into your car and being creepy," so they don't say anything. But no, yeah, this thing I love it, man. And dude, going back to Sidekicks, yeah, it's dude, what how long has it been since this movie came out? I mean, let me see
So
if
this
I
movie came out, I believe, in 93, 93,
holy hell,
92, something like that.
dude, I
So
was
it's been over 30 years for sure. Yeah.
shit, dude, I was like 6 years old when this movie came out.
Yeah, I was like in well, if it's 92, I was like finishing up second grade type of thing. I had set it up here on the IMDb to have because I want to make sure I have John Carter here, but yeah, because Sidekicks was it's 1992, 1992. So it came out in 92, and actually the director even shows he still has the little what's it called, man? I forget now. Yeah, you're always like the one you have a Freddy. The slate is a the movie one.
Uh, the oh yeah yeah, it's the damn it, I have it hanging on my door, man, in front of like
Well,
in my
he
office
still
door.
has it. The director
Yeah.
still has it with sidekicks on it, and it shows that they were filming it till like January of 90 something two. And I but no, according to IMDb, it actually the movie was shot in 92, but it came out in April of 1993, and it grossed about 17 million bucks. Not a big hit, but it made some money, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like a big budgeted movie. I mean, they talk about in the making of this that there's this guy in Houston, Texas, I believe, where they shot the movie that became a producer in the movie because he gave up money for the production to be made there, and he owns like a ton of mattress places over there in Houston. And he's known because whenever there's floods, he lets people go into his mattress places and like sleep on their mattress and stay there while their houses are flooded. So it's really nice of him. And they mentioned that, but I really, actually, I don't know about you, but I really dug if the movie being shot in Houston, it looks like they picked some really nice spots. I think it works for the movie, and you don't really see that many movies shot in Texas, other than stuff from Ra Rodriguez, because he always shoots. He has like a studio in Austin.
Dude, yeah, I love like the neighborhoods and everything. I mean, it was beautiful, man. The school, everything looked really nice,
The
and
girl's
you could,
house, the big brick house, man, is nice.
yeah, and I could tell too. I mean, I loved for one like the technology in the movie, like the dad's desk and everything, and like his computer, like in the dining room area, there in the corner with a giant monitor and all that.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it took me back to the AOL days. And more importantly, man, like you could tell it was low budget for sure because they used all the actors and all the daydream scenes, which was very smart because they could just keep recycling the actors. And in a way, too, it encompasses the story of like how much these characters have an impact in his life on a day to day for them to
Right.
be in his daydreams. Um,
Yeah, it's what he sees. It's like sometimes when you have an interaction with someone you haven't seen in a while or something, sometimes you might have a dream about them all of a sudden. Or if you were thinking about something the night before a lot and then you end up having a dream about it. So I think it's also like his surroundings, the people that he hangs out with, his teacher, which is like the one that treats him really nice. And she's
yeah,
always the damsel in distress in his dreams, and he's always trying to save her. And then I think at the end when he finally starts hanging out with his crush, the girl that he likes, instead of saving his teacher, it ends up that he saves her, and he's like, hey, I gotta save her, she's my girl. So it goes to show like how his mind is, like he's just always like bringing and incorporating these people, using the villain as the guy that wouldn't take him in his karate dojo. He's like, you're not good enough for this dojo, so he becomes the villain and stuff like that. So no, it's really creative. It's pretty cool that they did it like that.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's and even in the scene at towards the end where Chuck Norris, where he walks up to like untie her, and then Chuck Norris is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she turns around and it's his crush instead of the teacher, and you could tell right there that
Right.
that he like ascended, and now he kind of like his world is shifting. He's got that confidence. I really enjoyed the montages of his training. Because the Karate Kid was cool. Obviously, Mr. Miyagi's a legend, with the wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that this one it was more grounded, man. Like the teacher was just very funny. Like he wasn't as mystical as Mr. Miyagi. He was very practical, and you could tell he really cared about the kid, and he was just trying to he knew right away. He's like, oh, this kid just lacks confidence,
Yeah.
and it's all in his head. And once I get
Exactly.
in there, and because
Throwing them
remember,
dumplings.
yeah, throwing the
Mr.
dumplings,
Dumpling guy or whatever.
and then when he makes him that potion, that so-called potion.
Oh yeah, the
eh,
placebo pretty much.
yeah, exactly. And then the niece or his teacher, she asks him, oh, like, what's in that? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, but
Yeah.
it
He's like, I
won't
don't know,
kill
it
him.
just it smells bad and he thinks it's gonna help him,
Yeah,
with what he has. And yeah, no, he's a good teacher. He's very positive influence in his life, and he's yeah, I really liked him a lot, man. And I also want to mention before I forget, talking about the ending. So I even said that they didn't want to make this movie too much like the Karate Kid as far as the
yeah,
ending, having him battle the kid as a fight. So they came up with the whole breaking the bricks instead. So that was kind of cool, but at the same time, it kind of still references the Karate Kid, because in the Karate Kid Part Two, they're breaking the ice. Even though there's a fight, but it's a lot about breaking stuff in Part Two.
yeah.
And then this movie kind of took it from the breaking the ice to, like, I haven't seen Karate Kid Part Two in a while, so I don't know if eventually they did break bricks or wood. I remember the ice thing perfectly, but I they did have that in Karate Kid Part Two, but this movie took it to the final battle. Instead of it being him fighting his bully, they're just trying to break bricks, which I don't know in real life if you could break that many bricks. The way they set them up, they give them space so you could actually break them, but I know that must be I don't know, pretty hard.
Dude, I wonder if at all any real bricks were broken in the making of this movie.
I
Um,
doubt it. I doubt it.
yeah,
That's how movie magic. I do like that the guy catches his on fire at the end. In a way, it
dude,
made me feel like, hey, yeah, that's kind of cheating a little bit. Doesn't that soften him up or something? But, uh,
dude, that
but
was sick, man. And
but it
like
was
you said,
cool,
yeah, it was like you said, the Karate Kid too. He breaks ice, and in this one, he breaks fire. So it was kind of like,
yeah,
oh, how do we one up him? But no,
right,
I like the fire way more. Like, I mean, in that slow mo where Jonathan Brandis, like his arm, like his hands, his arms going through it, and you see all the like the brick, the concrete, whatever, all over, like the dust everywhere, and the fire, and it was cool because that was really him standing there. That was really his arm. That was real fire. And it was just incredible to see.
yeah, yeah. No, it was a pretty cool finale. I like that. And then they still give you the action fight with Chuck Norris and the villain at the end. Even though, like I said, the it's not much of a fight 'cause the guy doesn't really get to hit him or anything. But nah,
Yeah,
overall, I think this movie is pretty entertaining. It's got pretty good heart. It does tend to be, at least for my taste, a little too goofy sometimes.
yeah,
But I also give it a pass because it was made for kids too. Like this movie, the general audience was aiming at me and you when we were kids and when it came out, and it worked because the kids watched it. And I remember having friends and stuff that liked this movie. So I'm glad, even though I know you had a bad experience, but and I myself, and this is not speaking ill of any company, I usually don't buy Vinegar Syndrome movies because they don't attract me. But I got to give credit to Vinegar Syndrome for releasing this and doing a really good job with the 4K.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely, dude. Oh, and by the way, before we keep going, I do want to say what's up to John Doe Juggalo. He's in the chat. I'm trying to see
What's
how to
up,
make.
man?
Yeah, yeah. He just commented saying hi to us.
Thanks for
Let me.
joining, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. I'm trying to. Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, because I was trying to figure out why the why the comments weren't showing up. Let me see. Show comments. Yeah, I'm not sure. It should have popped up on the thing, but still figuring it out, guys. So we'll
Yeah,
definitely.
well, we'll learn as we go, and but no, thank you for joining, and feel free to comment as much as you want about how do you feel about sidekicks and your experience with it, and if we're probably gonna move on to the next one now, but overall, do you want to give like a little like
A little
rating to
rating.
the movie? Do you want to rate it, or you're like, nah, this is not,
You know what?
this is
I'm gonna rate it, man. I'm gonna do the letterbox style out of
sure,
five
yeah,
stars. And before we move on, I do want to say that real quick that so this movie, like where you were talking about this movie being made for kids and stuff, um, it really reminded me of a like an old school Disney movie, like how they used to make them, like
yeah,
Brink and all that, where it's like there's just subtle adult themes, but they don't really like it's very subtle, but you could still kind of catch on. But this movie really reminded me of old school Disney, in the best way. Because like you said, it was. I mean, dude, this movie was so freaking cheesy, and I
yeah,
think
it is.
with going with that, I think I'm gonna definitely give it. Man, it's hard. I want to give it. I'm torn between like I'm gonna say 3 stars. I'm gonna give it 3 stars,
Three
and
out
the
of
reason,
five, yeah,
yeah, 3 out of 5, and the reason why it's mainly because the story was pretty solid. It was very inspirational. It held up extremely well to this day. I mean, the storyline it didn't feel exaggerated. I like the way that they did the scenes of like when he daydreams and stuff like that. It was nice that they incorporated the actors and they kept recycling them and using them and kind of like showing their different skill sets, playing
yeah,
different characters in one movie. I love the fact that they didn't capitalize, even though, like you said, Chuck Norris's brother, like had produced this. I like the fact that Chuck Norris was kind of like behind the scenes. Like he barely has any dialogue in the entire movie. He probably has a whole 5 minutes worth of
yeah,
dialogue, and they focused on Jonathan's character and development. And the fact that they didn't try to rip the Karate Kid, even though it's a karate movie. They try to do their own thing, and yeah, just really appreciated it, man. I mean, I know like this, it's a cheesy movie, but it had a lot of heart, and so yeah, therefore I'm giving it a 3 stars.
yeah. Yeah, surprisingly for me, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Not surprisingly, but I would have probably given it a 2.5. But after watching it this time around, 3 out of 5 seems pretty legit for it. I didn't have I had a good time with it. Watched it on a work night, and I still stayed up and I watched some of the features. You learn a good amount from it. I still haven't seen all the features, but like I said, I saw the one with the director and I saw the one with the actress in it, and yeah, I feel the same. There's a lot of heart in this movie. There's a lot of cheesiness and corniness too.
Yeah,
That's nowadays you would call it a little cringy here and there, but overall, it's entertaining, man. And I'll probably watch it again in a few years. Before I'll probably watch this movie once every like 10 years, but I don't think I'll wait that long this time around. And now having it in
yeah,
4K and seeing how nice it looks, and to be able to preserve a movie like this that didn't really get a lot of love when it came out, and now it has a little bit of a cult following. It's pretty cool, man. So yeah, I'm glad I saw it again. Glad I bought it, even though I got gypped. I didn't get the big box one, but at least I have it, and it's got the features and stuff, so that's what matters. So yeah, overall, three
dude.
out of five.
Dude, hell yeah. And I'm glad you bought it too, man, because I know you didn't get the extra stuff, but I couldn't see another boutique label releasing this. Like if Vinegar Syndrome ever like sold out, I just don't think that anybody else would release it because it's not like a talked about movie like that.
Yeah, no,
Not to mention most boutique labels these days are all focusing on horror and stuff like that. And I mean the presentation that they did on this is fantastic. I couldn't picture them doing it anybody else doing it any better. But I'm just glad you have it, man, because it's a piece of history, and like you said, it's I've never seen it on DVD, and it's a
no, no,
piece
yeah,
of it's a Chuck Norris history. It's a childhood movie for us, and yeah, I'm glad that we have it in the collection. I'm definitely gonna not wait. And I mean, I haven't seen this movie since, dude, it's probably been like 30 years. Like maybe
Oh
I
wow.
or maybe even like between 27 and 30 years since I last saw this movie. So it was
Yeah.
definitely there was a lot that I forgot, and it was great.
Yeah, I
But
haven't seen this since since probably 2012 when I got that VHS. I watched it once.
oh wow. And
So
the
old
upgrade must
school.
have been amazing, like from
Yeah, I finally
VHS to
got to watch it
4K.
on in its theatrical widescreen. I always watched it on VHS, so it was pan scan, freaking zoomed in. So
Yeah.
I finally got to watch it, theatrically, man, and it was like in the theatrical format of widescreen, and it was great. And last thing, the actress, she does mention right at the end of her video, she gets emotional because she talks about how Jonathan Brandis passed away. We didn't mention that, and the guy that instructed him in the movie, the actor, he also passed away. Much older, of course. But she was
Damn.
saying that she was glad that this movie was finally coming out on 4K and Blu-ray because she knew it didn't have a DVD, and that we could have the performance from Jonathan Brandis, and I don't really remember the other actor's name that passed away, the Asian fellow that that instructs him, but they both passed away, and she's just glad that it came out. So yeah, I mean it's finally out, and Jonathan Brandis only got to make about, I think, a few movies, and he was a couple TV shows before he passed away. So it's good to preserve it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's nice to have something like this because his acting was fantastic in the movie, man. I mean, I really enjoyed it, like this training scenes and all that. Like he did a great job, and you could tell too when he was having anxiety or like the asthma attack or panic attack. Like he really killed it in this movie, man. And it's nice to be able to have a part of history. It sucks that I would have loved to see what he would have done in the future growing up and stuff, but it's nice for us to have like a part of him, that's gonna. I mean, again, I don't know where it's on digital anywhere, but at least we have that physical, that as long as we take care of it, like it's gonna be
Yeah,
with us forever, man. His spirit lives on. Um,
yeah, that's awesome, man. So we're about to hit you guys with a double feature here. Another movie that I think this movie is a little bit more well liked, and it's obviously a little bit more popular. And we'll get into why with this whole budget thing and all that. But let's do it, man. John Carter, Disney's
oh,
John Carter.
and you have the nice one too with the
He-
slip. See, this time I'm the one. Uh, which
You-
funny tidbit, Lee was actually with me when I found this at a Goodwill, and I got
yeah,
it for what, $2-3 or something, man.
yeah, $3 on Goodwill. Yeah, couldn't believe it because I know you've been wanting to get it. And funny enough, I got this one from I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure that you guys that collect movies and stuff know that Disney had a club, kind of like back in the day Columbia House and BMG did with CDs. They would send it to you. This was like a part of that for me, Disney Club. I think it was like the original was like five movies for like $20, and they send you a Blu-rays, and then you had to buy one, and you got more. I don't know. I forgot how it goes, but this was one of them for me. I got a couple of Toy Story ones with this, and Tron Legacy. So that's why I got it with the slip and stuff I got. But yeah, man, this movie, there's a lot to talk about. So let's get started. You want to start?
Yeah, man. I mean, where to start with John Carter? I mean, this I know it's a mixed bag. I know a lot of people enjoy this movie. I've there, Lee, you and maybe like one other person I know actually like this movie and really enjoy it, and everybody else kind of just bag on it a bit.
Yeah.
Personally, I love this. This is a guilty pleasure for me, man. Like this, I could put this on once a month or just have it in the background and just I mean, dude, the story of Mars. I mean, I love space travel and all that. So the fact that it's like, he goes to another planet, the fact that it's kind of resemblance to Stargate. I mean, because that's kind of
Yeah.
what it is. He goes to this Stargate type situation and goes to Mars. Um,
Yeah.
and it also has to do with history because in the time, it reminds me of the Time Machine, the remake of the Time Machine, because it's back during that older time. Then there you have a little Stargate sprinkled on, and then it's also a bit of Dune. Like
Yeah.
it's
There's
but for
even some.
kids.
There's even for sure there's some Star Wars stuff. I mean,
Oh
this
yeah,
this this was written back. I don't remember if it was in the 20s or something. So we spoke about this. This is Disney's marketing for this movie was terrible.
yeah.
This movie probably should have, and it should have been. It says it at the end of the movie. Should have been called John Carter from Mars, not just John Carter. It's kind of a dumb title. It's like, oh, what are we watching here? Especially if
John
you
Wick.
don't know. Yeah, John Wick, whatever movie. I mean, even the Jason Bourne, like it's like you don't know what you're getting with this. Obviously, the marketing was really bad. So we were talking about this movie to this day is known as the worst box office bomb of all time. This movie lost a ton of money, and it's funny because Disney, as much money as they make, they also have a lot of bombs. There's the second biggest bomb of all time is the Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp, which I think came out around the same time, a couple years in between. They were just giving too much budget to these movies. If
Yeah.
you give this movie, you make this movie for about 100 to 150 million. I think it still would have made its money back, but it would have done a lot better because it didn't do like terrible worldwide. But I was looking at it. So this movie, uh, it it lost $255 million. The budget was just way too high for this movie. So like what I was telling you, in order for it to make its money back, it had to make over $1 billion, and that was in 2012 when a lot of movies were making that money, but it was more like comic book movies, like Dark Knight Rises and the Avengers movie came out that year. So I think a lot of people are really hungry for comic book, and this is like an original sci-fi, but that has a lot of stuff from other movies that really stole from this story a little bit,
Yeah.
like Stargate and Star Wars and all that. So by the time it came out, it didn't feel original. But I think, like we were talking, we spoke a little bit about this. I think it still holds up. It's a really fun adventure movie. For the most part, the visual effects are still pretty damn good. I mean, 2012 was already over 10 years ago, and it still looks good. There's some movies coming out nowadays that the CGI looks terrible, and this movie's over 12 years old, and it still looks really good. So yeah, and you got the guy from from the Wolverine movie in there or something. I forgot what movie he was in. Yeah, he would play
Oh,
Gambit in the Wolverine
yeah,
movie.
there we go. The OG Gambit. And yeah, John Doe Juggalo says he really dug the John Carter. The 3D Blu-ray is awesome. Dude, that's
Oh,
cool. That's cool that you have John the blue not the blue the
the
3D
3D.
Blu-ray. I mean,
Yeah,
imagine.
I've never owned a 3D TV, so I wouldn't be able to get the effect of it. I do have a couple of movies on 3D from Disney. I think Captain America Winter Soldier was I have
Damn.
it comes with the 3D version, but I was never able to see it that way. So, but that's cool, man, that you have a 3D TV and you're able to see it. I can imagine this movie being pretty badass in 3D.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't see it in the theaters. So obviously the movie bombed pretty bad. I don't think a lot of people did, but I'm sure it would have looked nice on the big screen in 3D too.
Dude, imagine freaking like John Carter in 3D. Like how cool is that, man? Like damn, I'm so freaking jealous. Like I have a ton of 3D movies, like Blu-rays. I have a 3D Blu-ray player and I have 3D glasses. But what I lack is a
It's the
3D
TV.
TV. Dude, and I've been looking, man, because I go to thrift stores and stuff, and I do that a lot. I try to bargain shop. I mean, that's how I'm able to afford like my collection. I mean, you've known, I mean, dude, since we originally started the channel and all that, like I grew my collection last year compared to like having 50 movies to like I think having 1100 now or something. But it was just thrift stores and like it would have to be like massive deals, like every movie under $3. But a ton of them were 3D. And I look around, man. I'm always constantly on the looking, even if it's a small 3D TV, like even if it's like 32-inch or something or 27-inch, dude, I'd take it because that'd be great to just be able to watch some of these. Especially, dude, imagine Winter Soldier, like freaking Bucky just coming and beating the crap out of
Yeah,
freaking
I
Captain
mean,
America.
look, you could probably get one on eBay. The 3D TV is pretty hard, I think, to find nowadays. If you
Yeah,
try to buy a new one at Best Buy or stuff, I think that was something that kind of went away, like the curved TVs. I remember at one point they were trying to sell those curved TVs also.
yeah,
But I will say that just for me personally, I like Avatar awesome in 3D in the
yeah,
theater. I'm not a big fan of going to see the movies in 3D because they kind of give me a headache and stuff. But I totally understand how, because when that 3D fab came after Avatar, I saw a bunch of movies in 3D. I even saw like Harold and Kumar, the Christmas one in 3D in the theaters. So I do get the appeal. It's a lot of fun. But to watch them at home like that, it'd probably give me a headache. So I haven't really been like trying to get that. But that would be kind of cool because right now my main thing is I actually am trying to look for a tube TV, man, because I want to have an old school tube TV
hell
to
yeah.
connect the VCR and be able to watch some of the old stuff again in that way and connect my Nintendo 64 and actually be able to play it like that. But I understand the 3D stuff is pretty fun.
Dude, I want one of those tube TVs that has a built-in VCR, but like the small ones. I don't know if you remember the one that has like a little handle in the back. They're
Oh
pro-
yeah, yeah,
they have to. I think they're what, like 19-inch or something. But
yeah. They're another 13. The little ones are like 13-inch,
oh
and it comes with a little with the VCR. Actually, been
yeah,
looking. I
because I
found
think
this
it's like
lady on
that.
OfferUp that's doing a tube TV with the VCR and DVD combo, but she's kind of selling it for a little expensive, so I haven't gotten it.
Yeah,
But I want to try to lowball her a little bit.
I'll pay under $70. Like if it's in pristine condition, because so as you've seen my office already, man, and I showed you kind of like the room tour. The I have that flat screen, the 50-inch in here right now, but eventually I would love to get the little one and put it there and then put this one on the wall because yeah, man, those little ones I would get a bunch of cool retro stickers put on it and just be able to watch and enjoy because I have NES, an original Nintendo that I want to like play on it. I have my emulator. Later on I would love to get like an actual Super Nintendo and an N64. I know you got that awesome N64 and
Yeah. I
yeah,
have
man,
the
just be
little
able to get
Super
it.
Nintendo that they started releasing the little ones. I have the little one, and then at my parents' house we still got the original big NES there with
Dude,
games. I
yeah.
actually just bought it in a thrift store Tetris for it not too long ago, but I haven't played it yet. Well, I've played it a million times in my
Yeah.
lifetime, but what they were saying about the 3Ds is true. I kept a lot of my 3D movies anyways because they do come with the regular Blu-ray also. So that's the reason I would even buy them. It was like, oh, that's the way it came. I think for Winter Soldier, the only way to get it with the slipcover was to get the 3D one, and that's why I did that. I want to say that I'm not sure. So yeah, a lot of the 3D stuff was booming from 2009 to about 2015, and then it started dying out because I remember, and we saw it in a thrift store, GC. We saw the Star Wars Force Awakens in 3D.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's too like what John Doe Juggalo said. It's crazy that people are getting rid of the 3D collections because I mean, if it comes with the regular Blu-ray in there already, like why get rid of it? Not to
Yeah,
mention they're expensive as hell, man. Like I've been seeing, like I get lucky, I constantly find them for cheap. Even now, the new place where I'm living, like around here, there's a ton of thrift stores, and they're all like $1 and stuff. And I'm just blown away because you go on eBay and it's like some people are still charging premium price for those 3Ds, man. And like,
yeah,
another thing John was saying too. He was saying, I remember so many horror stories of tapes and DVDs getting stuck inside those on one
oh yeah,
TVs. And I actually have a horror story with, and Lee was there. So when we were originally, we were originally getting ready to record our Fast and the Furious versus Point Break video, Lee and I were at a thrift store and we find the Fast and the Furious on VHS and I'm there. I'm like, oh crap! Like, there's a VCR here. Like, let's test it out because I'm thinking of buying it. Or I don't remember if we are testing it for you or for me, but I remember I it was like just a few bucks under, like maybe like $5 or something. But we
yeah.
go and plug in the VCR, we put in the Fast and the Furious, and the
We were able
VCR.
to rewind it.
Yeah,
We rewound it for a little bit, and then we pressed play. Obviously, we didn't have it connected to a TV, so we just had to go by what the VCR says. And then he tried to eject it, and it wouldn't come out.
yeah. So whoever and somebody ended up either they threw it away or somebody bought it because I never saw a VCR again or the Fast and the Furious VHS case. But dude, whoever, yeah, they either they threw it out altogether or like screw the Fast and the Furious, or this thing is broken, or somebody just bought it and like unlodged it and fixed it. But that was definitely that sucked, man. And every time I go to a store now and I see like a Blu-ray player or a VCR, I'm always like weary now. So when I test something, I have to test something that sucks like
Yeah,
really bad, so that way we nobody misses out on anything.
yeah. I
But
didn't tell you. Like last 2 weekends ago. Oh no, last weekend I went to a Goodwill, and I they had one of those DVD VCR combos for $10, and I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna get it, but I walked away from it, and I to go look at the movies, and when I come back, somebody took it. Like they took it
damn,
quick,
dude.
man, and it was and I was around the time when all that stuff was popular. I was always told by, and I used to work at Best Buy, and the Best Buy guys in electronics would tell you there it wasn't worth to buy the combo ones because they usually one or the other would break. And like they mentioned now, a lot of the times those TVs that came with VCRs, the VCRs would break easier than having a separate VCR. So it's always best. But this lady that was trying to sell me her TV with the VCR and the DVD, I think the TV's pretty, it's a little bigger. I think it was like a 19 or 20 inch, but she wanted like 120, and I was like, nah, a little bit. I'll give you like $80 or something. But I haven't finished that deal yet. But either way, I have a separate VCR anyway, so I don't really care if the VCR on it works or not.
How big is the TV that you're trying to get?
Well, I don't care. Like I want to go between something as small as 13 or as big as 19. 27 is a little too big, because you have to remember the tube TVs go, since they went up, they were bigger.
Yeah.
I think the average household back in the 90s, at least for me, I always had a 27. Most people had 19 and 27s. And if you had a 32-inch, you were rich because you had like a big one. Unless you
Yeah.
had one of those huge ones
The
that were like
projector
50 some.
ones.
Yeah, they were like the size of your house and stuff. I remember a couple of friends having the 32s, and I was like, oh my God, this here. Always had the 27 or the 19s. But yeah, I think a 19 would be good, man. I'm not in a hurry to get it though, just because of space and stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to for the future. Like if I ever have a little setup in a room, I want to have a little throwback VHS, little section connected with a couple old systems to it.
Oh, and
So
then John says, I have a 26, 27-inch tube TV. Sounds small, but oh, absolutely,
yeah,
man. I mean, those
yeah,
things are tanks. They take up so much.
yeah.
Imagine 50-inch one of those. That'll take up a whole wall. Like,
How are
that's
they
crazy.
bringing Stu back to Scream 7 if they dropped like a 32-inch TV on his head? I don't know.
Dude,
But
seriously. That's crazy.
it's crazy. Now you're totally right. That's what I was saying. Like the average house had like a 27 back in the day, and it does sound small nowadays because you look at these little the flat screens since they're wide. You'll get a 27 and it's small. The average person nowadays probably has like like a 55 or a 65. That's like the average size now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, 27 was a big enough screen, and everyone was happy with that. So we're a little spoiled now. But they are a lot bigger because they go up instead of to the wide.
Especially with VCR, VHS, VCR, VHS. It's true, man. Like if you start watching like those movies on a bigger TV like that, anything above 27, you start like really noticing the imperfections. And where it really, for me, that's why I want that 19-inch, like that little one, because I used to have one of those TVs. Because that's where for me VHS just shined, man. Like I used to pop them in and looked so good there. And I know
Uh,
obviously like tube TVs and like the LEDs or plasmas and all that. I know that they're made different, so that's why VHS and DVDs don't always look as great. But
I'm gonna
I
put this
mean,
on for the 3D fans, man.
oh yeah, there it is.
Look
Damn
at
it, I wish
these.
I had mine. Oh, the Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah, man.
dude.
These are. It comes with the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. It's funny, dude, because so talking about I only mentioned this because of tube TVs. So if you own this collection and you put on Freddy's Dead, you could use these for the 3D, and it looks kind of shitty, but it works on a tube TV. If you try to do it on these flat screens, it doesn't work, man. So unfortunately, that's another reason it would be cool to have a tube TV again with a DVD. I could watch the Nightmare on Elm Streets and be able to see that 3D in the with the blue and red that looks terrible anyways. But it's that's what's fun about it.
Dude, and Shay says, "LOL, I need an 85-inch TV." Oh, we all need an 85-inch. I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
I want to get a 4K projector because like I would love to be able to have like a 100 freaking inch like TV pretty much on the wall. And I mean these projectors, dude, they're coming a long way. I'm seeing a ton of them on Amazon under $400, which do up to 100, I think 100, 120 inch, and they're just phenomenal. They're really mind blowing, man, what they're doing with that tech. So maybe in the
yeah.
future I'll do something like that. But let's see. John Doe Juggalo says VHS still looks good on the tube TV. Your memory serves you correct. Hell yeah, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that because it was made for that. So it's definitely like these new TVs they don't look as good. Obviously, if you put on a 4K movie, it looks amazing. But if you put on a VHS on a new technology that was never meant to be for that, it's never gonna look as good. So yeah, for sure. That's why I think it's if you're a collector and you like VHS and stuff, you definitely need to have a tube TV. Unless the tape gets a little messed up and then you have to hit the track 100 times to try to get it to fix up. But other than that, no, they look good, man. If you catch a little bit of a widescreen edition of a VHS, I say even better. You know how I am. I'm not a big fan of VHS because of the pan scan thing, man. You lose a
Oh
lot
yeah.
from the movie. But at the same time, I'm super nostalgic for it because I grew up on it and I had a collection of over 200 VHS, and of course got rid of most of it throughout the years, and now I kind of regret it. But due to space and stuff like that. But we forgot about John Carter.
Dude, you look at us, you see, you put us together, and we're just, you know what it
Oh
is,
man,
man?
we,
Like,
we we totally went a different way. But no, it's fun. It's fun to talk about other things. To get back to
man,
John Carter
yeah.
before we forget. Um,
Like most people forgot. No, imagine
yeah,
John Carter on VHS. Like that'd be freaking
this movie
insane.
bombed so hard in theaters that even as we talk about it, we forgot to
They,
keep talking about it.
they,
It's like,
they pull
but
they
no, it
pull
is a
all the
fun movie,
Blu-rays.
man. It's a really fun adventure. Talking about the movie, and also just to jump to the ending, I was saying how unfortunate it is that it didn't make any more money because it would have been nice for it to get the trilogy that it was supposed to be. So yeah, I mean, it kind of ends in a way where you can say, oh, it ends and he just goes back to Mars, but it's 10 years later, and you wonder what's going on over there and what his wife is doing, because he marries the girl at the end,
Yeah.
and it leaves all this stuff open, unfortunately. But we still have this one, and it's a fun movie.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, I thought like, and like you said, it was based on a book and all that, and I mean, it was so enjoyable, man. It's just such a fun movie, and it's definitely a Disney movie, and I mean, I don't get the hate on it. I don't understand if it's because, like, for example, it says it here on the case, Star Wars for a new generation. I don't know, the collider.com said that, but I don't know if it's because maybe people were comparing it or trying to like say it's the next Star Wars that people hate it that much, or just because of the poor marketing. Because I mean, I get it bombed because of the poor marketing, but at the same time, it's one of those movies that if you watch it, for the like, it's so enjoyable, and it has its funny moments, especially with the baby, like the little green baby and all that, when he's
Oh
like,
yeah.
when they're like taking care of him and stuff, when he's like
Oh yeah, they're
sleeping
throwing the
around them.
powder on him and stuff.
Yeah, like
I was
that.
gonna say that you mentioned Star Wars. There is a scene in this movie though that is super super Star Wars Episode Two: Attack of the Clones, and it's the
Oh,
arena scene, man. That arena scene is almost a clone to the Episode Two one. And Episode Two came out 10 years before this, so I do gotta say that I think design wise they should have come up with something a little different because it looks a lot like the arena in Episode Two. Obviously, it's Mars, so it has that
yeah,
desert look to it, like they did with Star Wars. But just the creatures, like just standing there, even though in the Episode Two they fly, in this one they don't. But I did find that one sequence in the arena to be a little too much like Episode Two. But other than that, there's a lot of fun action here. And what's cool is that John Carter, he coming from Earth, he's able to jump real high, so he has like a lot of cool like fight scenes and things with his jumping, and the Green Warriors are really cool.
yeah.
I really enjoyed them too.
The jumping was awesome, dude. Like I kept thinking, I mean, obviously scientifically, like Mars's gravity is not like that. Um, but it was cool. It was like the moon type thing. Um, I wish they would have toned that part down a little bit, because I know it's for kids and it's supposed to be like, very fantasy and all that stuff. But I do appreciate it when they kind of sometimes keep things a little bit more grounded, because like if you got a solid story, you don't have to exaggerate a lot of the things. But it was yeah, like a lot of that stuff, it was pretty cool the way they did it. And I mean, the CGI, man, like you said earlier, before we went on our little VHS rant, like it really holds up well for me. I mean, I know I see a lot of movies this day and age where the CGI is just atrocious, and you're wondering, it's like, dude, we're almost midway of 2025 with all the tech going on. Like, we're almost gonna eventually we're gonna be close enough to 8K instead of 4K, and you guys are still doing shitty like freaking CGI. And then what, 12, 13 years ago, the CGI
Yeah.
is still holding up pretty well.
Well, the problem, like they said, is it's not the artist's fault. Is that the studios want them to do everything so
Yeah.
quick now that it's losing its quality. So I mean, they have the technology and they have the people that are incredible at doing this work. They just don't have the time or the man hours to do it. So they're just trying to push it out too soon, too fast. Even this latest Marvel movie has the new Captain America has some pretty shady CGI. I mean, the Red Hulk looks good, but a lot of the rest of the stuff doesn't. So I just feel like they're just working too quick on it. This movie, obviously, they had the time and the patience to do it. They had the budget. Um, but yeah, it really holds up so far. Like I told you, there's a few scenes where I do wish the green guys that I forget their name, but the green four armed guys that basically become his friends in the movie that it would have been cool if they would have been how do you call it, not animatronic, well, animatronic, or just not CGI, because I think they would look even better today than they do even with the CGI. Because I think with time it's going to start to look a little bit even blurry in some points and stuff. So yeah, I mean, but overall it still looks great, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And the I don't know about you, man, but those green guys definitely reminded me of Goro from Mortal Kombat with all the
Oh
arms
yeah,
and
with
all
the
that.
forearms. That's a
Yeah,
bad. Well, look, that's an animatronic. Till this day, sure, his face looks a little weird in the movements, but his body and stuff still looks really cool. It holds up in that movie. But yeah, I mean, it definitely it's a 30-year-old
yeah,
movie. But you're right, it does remind it. Except for they have they're green and they have like the horns coming out of here,
yeah.
but the design's really cool, man, and I like the fact that their main leader has the daughter that she keeps getting burned because she keeps making mistakes, and then later on we find out it's his daughter, and then they befriend John Carter to help them, and then John Carter uses them for the war too. So it has a cool story, man. I really don't know why um not enough people saw it. I mean, like I said, it had everything against it. It was never gonna make $1 billion, so it was always gonna lose. But I hope an audience and the people that have Disney Plus could watch it there too. So hopefully it gets a little bit more of an audience soon. And I mean, I don't think we'll ever get a sequel, but I wouldn't be surprised if someday Disney Plus decides to do like a series out of it with that trilogy in mind and be able to expand the story a little more.
You know, man, I wouldn't be surprised in the future of like 10 or 15 years from now they try to even sooner. You know what? Hopefully, I know we got 4 viewers now. So maybe if we all just kind of start causing a little bit of noise and spreading it, we get
For
great. Just start a movement and get John Carter. I mean, they'll most likely, if they ever were to do it again, it'd probably take like 5 to 10 years from now, and they would most likely redo it. Unfortunately, instead of just keeping the original and just playing on it, because that's what they do, man. Like I just feel like they just kind of everything's a remake now instead of just kind of trying to keep it original and
yeah, but you can't make a sequel to the biggest money lost movie ever. You just can't. I mean,
yeah.
they just don't see the money there. They don't have, so you can't come back with this cast and stuff. I really don't think that they're gonna ever come back to this. As far as not just movie wise, but I was just saying if it ever did come back, maybe as a Disney Plus show with a few seasons and a much lower budget. But I doubt it. Kind of like they did with those Peter, was it Peter? What's that kid movie? The Olympians movie? I forgot what it was called. Peter Jackson or something like that. Or
Oh yeah, yeah. Isn't it Percy Jackson or something?
Percy Jackson. Peter Jackson's the director of Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
there you go. Yeah,
Percy Jackson was, the movies didn't do that well, and then even though they did okay because they made a few sequels, but now they did it into a Disney Plus show, which I don't know if it's any good or not because I don't watch it. But I was thinking more towards those lines. If they ever did do it, maybe they can make a TV show out of it. But I doubt it. I think this is all we're gonna get with John Carter, and I'm glad it's a good movie. I enjoy it. Um, it's got a good cast. I mean, even Willem Dafoe it does the voice of the leader of the CGI green dudes. I forget
oh,
their
that's
name.
right, man. I completely forgot about that. It's
Yeah, yeah.
you, you,
He's
hard
been
to
in
miss that
everything,
voice.
Willem Dafoe. So
I do want to quickly touch on what you said earlier about it bombing so hard because, man, I don't know if like if we look back now, there's so many movies that bombed 10, 15, 20 years ago, and now they're just a cultural phenomenon. Like they've sucked so bad that people like just absolutely and not that the movie sucked, it's just more of they didn't do so well in box office, and now they're just making series off of them, they're bringing them back. So I think maybe this with John Carter, hopefully, man, hopefully in the future, you know, people kind of revisit it if it gets added to Disney Plus, if it's not already on there, and just
Yeah, it's on there. It's on there.
oh, okay. Yeah, because it gets a little cult following because that's all it really takes, man. Sometimes, just with these old TV shows and all that stuff, like it did terrible, and then all of a sudden, like 5 or 10 years later, it just kind of becomes like ends up being mentioned on Stranger Things or somewhere, and then people are like, "Oh my god, it's cool because it was on there." Now I have to like obsess about it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, you never know. You never know. I
yeah,
mean,
man.
you're right. A lot of these movies that bomb sometimes do get a second life. I don't know. I think this one just bombs so bad that it's gonna be hard. But yeah, I mean, never say never. Hopefully
Yeah, man.
we get
Just like
something out of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed because we just didn't get to continue on this story itself with this because I thought the main actor was good in it. Probably my favorite role of his. I've seen him in a few things. Uh, Other than playing Gambit. I know he was in that Battleship movie, which I personally dislike, but he's been in a few things. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's this one is like a to rate it real quick. We could keep talking about it. I was just gonna say that to me, this is probably like 3.5, maybe even 4 out of 5. I really enjoy this movie. It's a
Absolutely.
fun adventure movie, man. If you're in the mood for something and then science fiction, that reminiscent of a mix of, like you said, Stargate, even something like a Pirates of the Caribbean, just as far as adventure and fun, or Indiana Jones, or he is looking for a few things, and he's so yeah. Overall, a lot of fun.
Dude, absolutely. And I have to say, yeah, I'm gonna give it the same. I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. Um, just love this movie. It's a guilty pleasure for me, man. I could throw it on anytime and just play it in the background. And it really does. It's a combination of Stargate, like the time machine, I mean everything, man. It could just it reminds you of a little bit of it was like little breadcrumbs of all these different movies. And
Yeah,
I do want to say, because I'm gonna move on to the next comment on here that John mentions, but he did say if you look around for $500 to $600 range for a projector, you'll get a 3D compatible one more than likely. And that's, I mean, not only is that a reasonable price, but especially with a projector that you could get like 100-inch screen. But dude, if it's 3D
yeah.
compatible, John, I think that I'm definitely gonna be on the market for that because I already have the player, and that would be awesome. So thank you, buddy, for that heads up. And then he did say one more thing. He did say that one of his best friends from high school absolutely loved the John Carter movie. He was a big fan of the books, and he said the movie followed the book very well. I
Um,
personally never read the book, but I know Lee. I know you read a lot more. I know you do more Stephen King and stuff, and I know you read a lot more than me, man.
Yeah, I haven't
Um,
read it. I haven't read it either. But I've heard, I know it of his existence, and I know it was written back in the day. I don't know exactly when. I know it's like in the early 1920s or something like that. And it's a story that a lot of creators have, taken from, from the people that wrote Dune to the people that wrote the Star Wars and all that stuff. Like I said, it just came out a little too late, I guess. All these movies beat it to the punch as far as film and TV adaptations, but all that stuff is there, man. That's cool that there is fans out there of it, and fans of the book enjoyed the movie. That's always good. It means they did a good job adapting it. That's always pretty, and it's rare a lot of the times. I currently just saw The Monkey in the theaters, which is a Stephen King, and like GC said, I'm reading a lot of King. I've almost read almost all his stuff at this point. And even though The Monkey was a short story, easy to adapt because you're adapting like a 40-page story. It's the other way around. Sometimes the adaptations feel like they don't have enough screen time for it, so you feel like they cut out a lot of the book. Well, The Monkey turned out to be that with a 40-page story, you don't need an hour and a half movie. It just feels redundant and a little bit just like it would have actually worked as a short story in like a creep show movie or something like that. A
yeah.
little 20-minute, 30-minute story in creep show would have been much better than giving it a full film. So it's just good to hear that it was a good adaptation from a book because it's rare.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, this day and age, unfortunately. Like that's one big complaint from people, from like fans of books and stuff. For example, like The Martian was very extremely spot on to the book. I think the ending was the only thing that was very slightly tweaked, but not in a way where you hate it. But because if I'm not mistaken, when I read the book, I think at the end he's sitting at the park and he makes a comment about um yeah, about just like surviving Mars and stuff. And then in the movie, he's in a classroom. I think that's what the difference. I would have to reread the book. I just watched the movie again like a day ago. Um, so yeah, and it also John says here we need to bring back anthology movies. Absolutely, man. I know like the VHS anthology series, I freaking love. They're really great. So I do see and we
Yeah,
just need more stuff like that.
anthology movies, man. Yeah, I mean, I know I haven't been watching the VHS movies. I know VHS Beyond, I believe, came out. I watched the first two. I don't feel like they're doing a good job with anthologies recently. There was one called Tales of Halloween that came out like in 2016 that was pretty good. There was a few good stories in there. And I tried watching the Creepshow TV show and it's just so cheap looking and it feels fake. I don't know, I just didn't like that. But I love the first two Creepshow movies. And as GC knows, and he's seen my collection, I'm a huge fan of Tales from the Crypt. I own all the seasons. That's one of my favorite anthology thing ever. So it would be awesome, especially I think anthology works it's the best in horror, but I
Yep.
do it would be nice to see more. I know we got an anthology story I believe last year with Kinds of Kindness, which is a movie from the director of Poor Things, and it's more of a drama thing, but I haven't watched it yet. I know it's on Hulu, so I definitely want to check that out. But I agree. I love that stuff. So it would. I just think if you're gonna do short stories of King, and they don't need to be a full length because they just stretch it out when it comes to that. And when it comes to a book, yeah, something like well, let's see what they do with the Life of Chuck. That was also a short story that was made into a full movie that comes out now in the summer, and that's from Mike Flanagan. So I mean, he's done great with Gerald's Game and all these King adaptations. So hopefully he gets it right.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, I'm a big fan of Mike Flanagan, and I'm looking forward to that new Exorcist movie.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'm really excited about it, and I mean, yeah, man. I mean, I definitely want to see more anthologies and stuff like that. I feel like we got to bring back like, a f- man. I mean, it's a hot topic, but I mean, I think most people that are like fans of cinema and physical media will agree that it's talked about. We need to bring back more of the old school mentality of filmmaking and directing and storytelling instead of just kind of taking the easy way, because we're missing out on so much talent, man. We have so much talent this day and age. Talented directors, writers, producers. We have so much, like, such wonderful technology now that could really push us above and beyond, like,
Yeah,
cinema.
I mean,
And
I feel like there's definitely a push for more original content. I think
yeah,
we are getting a lot of original content, but it's going to streaming a lot, and not
yeah,
not enough in the theaters. But I do feel like this year they are pushing more original content in theaters. For example, I went to watch Black Bag yesterday, which is an original spy thriller from Steven Soderbergh, and it's very much an adult movie made for adults. I enjoyed it a lot. And there's Noah Kane came out this weekend, which is also original, even though it takes a little bit of the Wolverine story with the guy that can't get hurt. But and then a couple of weeks ago we had Mickey 17. So I do think we are getting more original content. The problem is that people are just not going to see it in theaters.
yeah.
So if no one shows up, then they're not gonna make it, and they'll make it for streaming because people watch it on streaming and Netflix and HBO Max or Apple, whatever. But if people don't show up to the theaters they only show up for event movies, they're only going to keep making event movies. So it's just, and I love event movies and I like to go see them in theaters too. But it's also fun to go watch just a regular old like 80s, 90s, like they used to make just regular movies that you would go watch in theaters. And I had that experience yesterday when I saw Black Bag. Um,
Dude,
but I mean, yeah, Mickey 17, if it's based on, it's based on a book, I didn't know, but I mean, it's still an original movie. So,
yeah, I
um,
haven't seen it, man. I want you, dude, if you get the chance, man, make a non-spoiler quick little review on it, man, cuz I've been dying to watch it, and I'm
for what, Mickey 17 or for Black Bag?
No, for Mickey 17, man. Like it
Oh,
looked so freaking in.
I still haven't seen it either. I
Oh,
feel, yeah.
I thought you
I
saw
was,
it.
no, no, no. I was supposed to see it, and I had to cancel the showtime, and then yesterday we just wanted to watch something shorter, so we saw Black Bag. It was only like 93 minutes.
Damn.
But I don't regret it because it was really good, and but I still want to see Mickey 17. But unfortunately, this is a movie with a bigger budget, and it didn't do well. And I already saw there's a digital date for it on March 25th. So that's how quick movies are leaving theaters and coming to digital because not enough people are going to see them in theaters and stuff. So I'm gonna try to get to it before it leaves theaters. I wanted to see it in IMAX. But if I don't, then I guess I'll catch the digital when it comes out in like 2 weeks or a week and a half.
Damn.
Unfortunately.
I wonder what could have caused it to not do so well. Because I mean, Robert Patterson's a fantastic actor. I know. I mean, I think he really earned the respect after. Um, I don't know. I don't want to say Batman, but I mean, because everybody was just bagging on him for playing Batman, and then he plays Batman. He does such a fantastic job, but he's
No,
just,
but he started making a bunch of indie movies before that people were starting to like give him praise
yeah,
for. I think one was called Good Time, and there was a couple of other ones. And he just he unfortunately, not unfortunately for his paychecks, but I'm sure he
yeah,
made good money. Unfortunately for him, he started off in the Twilights, and that's what blew him up. But you could tell he's a guy that really likes to make all types of film, independent film,
yeah.
and with Batman he did a good job. So I think he's gonna definitely be one of those like Leonardo DiCaprio type guys if he keeps going the way he's going. Unfortunately, no, Mickey 17. Parasite's one of my favorite movies that's come out in the past 5 6 years, and it's from the director of Parasite, so I definitely want to check it out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're the one that put me on. I mean, I knew about Parasite, but then Lee was gracious enough to gift me the Blu-ray with the beautiful slip and everything. And man, I just like that was the first like Korean film that I've ever seen, and especially with subtitles, man. Like we talked about before, like I growing up, I could never do like the just subtitle with different language and stuff. And after watching that movie, I was blown away, man. So I definitely appreciate you like putting me on to a new like genre of cinema and gifting me the movie. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah, man, you got a lot of great movies ahead of you, man. Like I mean, I hope one day you finally watch the one I let you borrow that you never
The
saw, but
devil,
you're gonna
yeah.
love that movie, man. You're gonna
Oh,
love
absolutely, man. Especially now.
the
What was it called? It was Late Night with the Devil. No, no, that's not
no.
Late Night with the Devil. I Saw the Devil.
I
That's
saw the devil. I saw the devil. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it, man. I'm trust me, it's on my list. There's another one called it's another horror movie
The
too.
host.
Not the
Well,
host.
the host is from the director of the Parasite. You should check that one out. It's a fun creature feature type movie, with some funny stuff in it.
Oh, I have
Um,
it. I found it at
oh,
the thrift store for like $1. So like
oh,
I got
oh
it.
yeah. But what
But
did you see it?
no, I haven't
Okay.
watched it yet. I saw the
Yeah.
director and I was like, absolutely, it looked very interesting. And obviously for $1, I was like, you know what? This one, and I saw the reviews. That's the main thing. Like when I find these movies in thrift stores, I check the reviews and stuff because I know it's easy just to grab it for $1 or two, and then it like piles up back there. But I read the reviews. The reviews were pretty great. And then obviously the director, and I was like, you know what? I loved Parasite. I want to check this out. Obviously, it's like you said, it's a creature feature. Um,
Yeah.
and no,
Yeah,
and
no,
it's some
check it out because I think you'll enjoy it. But I saw the devil is different. It's like, man,
yeah,
that movie is a dark movie. It's really good. Highly recommend that as a Korean cinema. Korean cinema is really good. There's a lot of good stuff out there, like Old Boy and all that stuff that's come out throughout the
yeah.
years. So yeah, no, for sure, man. If you have a chance, check those out.
Yeah. And then John said streaming is ruining things for true cinephiles. I couldn't agree more, man. I mean, the only positive side to streaming is the fact that, I mean, going to the movie theater, it could get expensive. I mean, you could easily, for one person alone, like if you get the popcorn, the soda, the movie ticket, unless you go on to AMC on a Tuesday for like $5 or something to get the ticket, but or you
Well, I
have the
tell people,
pass.
man. I mean, look, you could spend $25 nowadays a month on Netflix and get some probably good shows, but not great movies because the original movies are not very good, in
Yeah,
my opinion. Or
like
you could spend
subpar.
$25 a month on an AMC A list and go to the movies 3 times a week if you wanted to. So
Yeah.
I think there's chances there. I understand for people that have kids and stuff, it's not as easy because now you're
Yeah.
paying for like 4 people, 5 people, $25 a month adds up. But if you're either single or just with your partner, I think it's really worth it to pay the 25. It includes IMAX and Dolby Cinema. And you can get to watch all these movies. And when 3D was big, you would be able to watch the 3D ones also. So
Yeah.
I do recommend that if you have a chance, if you have AMC theaters near your area, to get the AMC A list, and you'll be able to. I mean, even if you just go twice a month, it already makes up for it. Because a movie, even if without an IMAX screen, costs about $18 in a big city, and you're paying 25 a month. You go twice, it more than makes up for it. And even if you go watch it on a regular screen, it's about, at least in my area, it's about like $14. So I recommend that for
Dude,
sure.
I don't well, I'm gonna put John's comment real quick and then I'm gonna go back to Shay's comment. So John says, I don't have a theater within 2 hours of me that has a membership. And John, I'm right there with you, buddy. I actually so I have an AMC, I think maybe like 45 minutes or an hour away from me, but I do have like a local movie theater, and I have a Regal. The Regal's like 18 minutes from me, and I
Well,
know
look
they.
it up because I think Regal. I don't have Regal, but I believe Regal has a monthly pass also, just
Yeah,
like
they do.
AMC.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, look that up, and if you don't, then yeah, I mean, just try to go, I guess, whenever you can.
Yeah,
And I know it's expensive, but I wish movies were $4 like in the '90s when
dude, I
I
know,
used to pay $4 and sneak into two more, so I watched like 3 movies for $4. And
dude.
nowadays, guys, super easy to sneak in. Nobody cares, nobody pays attention. So if you don't have that much money, just pay for one movie and watch like three, and at least you're getting the experience.
Dude, or having like a friend working at the movie theater. I remember back in high school, man, that was awesome. Like our friend would just let us in. That was
Yeah.
like, but oh, and Shay says I would say Robert Patterson got his spotlight in Harry Potter, and
Yeah. I
I
mean, he
mean,
did. He did. He was in that. I think, yeah, before Twilight.
oh yeah,
But yeah, obviously he blew up from Twilight. But he definitely. I'm sure that gig is what got him the Twilight gig. So for sure.
yeah, absolutely, man. Like I mean, definitely, like especially like all the girls having a crush on him and stuff. They were like, this is Twilight. This is for girls, for tweens. We need somebody that could be the main guy and a little heartthrob. And then they're like, oh, I remember freaking Harry Potter kid, that all the girls loved. They're like, oh my
Yeah.
god, and there he is. No, that's
Yeah.
awesome, man, dude. Wait, let me see. Oh no, okay, yeah, there's no more comments
We
here.
got them all right. Yeah.
Yeah, we got all the comments. And dude, I know you said you had to cut off because we're already past the time that you had to go, man. I don't want to hold you
Yeah.
back or
No, it's
anything.
been fun, man. It's been fun. Let's like, next month we'll do it again. You and I will get together and we'll talk about what movies we could watch, and talk about, hey, who knows? Maybe you finally watch I Saw the Devil. I would love to talk that one with
Dude,
you.
yeah.
But since it has a little bit of horror vibes too, we could always save that one for the podcast
Yeah, and
section.
and
But yeah.
And absolutely, man. And just to let everybody know, I know we have a few watchers right now. We have like 7 people watching. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Just keep an eye out because Lee and I, uh, so we're doing a Face the Movies and Cinema Whiplash presents Friday Night Fright Night, where we're going to be doing our podcast. If you're subscribed already to Face the Movies, on Spotify or Apple Podcast. We're gonna be streaming these episodes. These we're gonna just be doing the audio for now. Maybe in the future, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll do something like this where we could, do the podcast on video as well. But for now, we're gonna do audio and keep that separate, and then you guys will be able to have access to that. But yeah, I mean, thank you for subscribing. I mean, if you're not subscribed to Lee on Cinema Whiplash, make sure to subscribe to him, man. I mean, you guys, Lee, he was here from the beginning, like, and with life and work and me moving and stuff, it made it kind of difficult, but we're getting our schedule sorted out so we can start doing more collabs and
Yeah, for
um
sure.
and I'll definitely be pumping out some videos very soon. Maybe this week I'll be able to finally get around to recording a video on my end. I know Lee's working on some stuff on his end,
Yeah,
and
I haven't released anything since Captain America myself. I've done a couple of unboxings of the movies, and I maybe if I have time on Monday, I'll do the Black Bag review because I do think that would be nice to talk about that movie, and I hope people get
Yeah.
to go watch it because it's a good adult, if you're into like adult movies and stuff like that. It's very very well made.
Yeah, freaking Captain America, man, just kind of like killed your momentum after watching that. You're like, I'm not feeling
I
inspired.
thought people wanted to see that, but I was wrong.
Yeah, man.
Man, I'm gonna have to
But
start shooting my stuff in 3D, man.
there we go. Oh man, you know
I'm gonna let
what?
you
Like,
guys. It
dude,
looks
hell
amazing in
yeah.
3D.
You know what we gotta do, man? Stay on for a second so we could, because when I end the stream, so we could do like a little thumbnail, man, with the movies and all that stuff.
Oh
But
yeah.
dude, thank you guys again so much. Lee, do you wanna add anything before we get
No,
offline?
it's been fun. Just look forward to GC and I doing more things together. We're gonna do this like we said, once a month. We'll start the Fright night podcast pretty soon. We gotta talk about what movie we'll start with. That should be a lot of fun. And then yeah, just check out both our channels. At Face the Music and at Cinema Whiplash, and that's it. Thank you for joining us. And if you're watching this not live, then thank you for watching it when you're watching it. I don't know.
Yeah, and John Doe Juggalo said he subbed to Lee. John, man, thank
Oh,
you so
thank you.
much. Dude, John, you
Appreciate you.
gotta Lee, if you haven't had a chance, man, make sure to check out John's channel. Dude is freaking awesome, dude.
I will. Thank you, John.
Love his stuff. And then Irina said she can't wait. So, Irina, thank you for the support.
Thank you,
Um,
Irina.
yeah, and buddy, I missed you, man. Like this has been a blast. I feel like even though we're not next to each other, it actually kind of works out because we're able to set up a lot faster, and it's just kind
Yeah,
of cool
no,
to have.
it works out great, man. I think it's a means to an end, and now you live even farther, so I'm not driving there.
It
It's
really
a-
is, huh? Well, actually, yeah, we don't have to drive back and forth, and we kind of get to showcase our personalities a little bit, like our backgrounds and our collections and stuff, which is nice.
yeah.
But yeah, dude. I mean, again, guys, have a wonderful Sunday. Thanks again for signing in, and yeah, well, make sure to like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Thank you.
Later, guys.